Hey guys, so today we're going to show you how to get your KH director up and running for the first time. For part 1 of this video, we'll first start by going over the basics. We'll cover details such as what each connector is used for, how to power on the KHD, how to connect a PAB cable to your KHD, then finish up by showing you how to properly assign the KHD to your primary device. To get started, you'll need a KH director, KHD reagent bottle, KHD pH probe, pH 4 and 7 calibration fluids, silicone tubing, a GHL doser 2.1 standalone or slave unit, a PAB cable for connecting the doser to the KHD, a power supply splitter cable, and a wastewater container. You'll also need a measuring cup or graduated cylinder for calibrating the dosing pump heads that will be used to run the KHD. If you purchase the KHD and standalone doser set, the included PAB cable and USB cable will be all you need to connect these devices together. If you purchase a KHD and slave doser set and want to connect these to either a Profilux controller, standalone doser 2.1 or doser maxi, you'll need an additional PAB cable. This second PAB cable will be used to physically connect the KHD to your primary device. So now let's go over all the connections and ports found on your KH director. Looking at the back of the unit, you have your 24 volt power port, BNC connector port for the pH probe, connector for the emergency drain, an auxiliary port for future expansion options, and 2 PAB ports which are used for connecting the KH director and doser together. These PAB ports are also used for daisy chaining additional PAB devices such as the Profilux 4 controller and additional dosing units. As you go through the contents of your product box, you'll see that your KH director did not come with a power supply and instead came with a power supply splitter cable. This cable is used for connecting the KH director and doser 2.1 to the 24 volt power supply that belongs to the doser itself. In other words, both the KHD and doser share the same 24 volt power supply. At the front of the KHD, you have 3 connectors. First, you have the water sample inlet, which is used for feeding the KHD a sample of your aquarium water. The reagent inlet is where the reagent is fed into the KHD during a KH test. The wastewater outlet is where water is pulled out of the KHD after a test is completed. Looking at the right side of the KHD, you'll see a probe port. Here is where the KHD pH probe will be connected. So now let's go over how to power on both devices and connect the PAB cable. Start by taking the power supply splitter cable and connecting the Y end to the KH director and doser. Once that's done, connect the tail end of the cable to the 24 volt power supply. Make sure you connect only the KHD and doser to this 24 volt power supply. Next, take the PAB cable and connect one end to the KH director and the other end to the doser. If your setup includes only the KH director and standalone doser, connect the one PAB cable that was included with your KHD and doser set. If you have a KHD, a slave doser, and a primary device such as a Profilux controller, standalone doser 2.1, or standalone doser maxi, you'll need to have a second PAB cable on hand. For this particular setup, connect the first PAB cable to the KHD and doser. Then take the second PAB cable and connect it to either the KHD or slave doser. The other end of this cable should then be connected to the primary device. Now that both the KHD and doser are powered on and connected with a PAB cable, the next step will be to assign PAB devices to the primary device. To do that, connect to your Profilux controller or standalone doser using GHL Control Center. If you don't have GHL Control Center installed on your PC, please download it by going to our GHL Downloads page. We've placed a link to that page in the description box below. Please download the newest version of GCC, install it to your computer, and then run the program. With GCC opened, create a new dedicated connection for your primary device. You can do this by clicking on the Administrate button, then clicking on New. Select the primary device you'll be connecting to, and then give this connection a name. set the type of connection to USB, set the COM interface to Auto, click Save, then Close. Your new primary device connection should now be displayed. Select your primary device, click Connect, and wait for the screen to load. From here, navigate to the System Settings page and click on Assign Devices. You'll now see a list of PAB devices that have been detected by your primary device. Devices that do not have a check mark are the ones that are currently unassigned to your main device. Select the new devices you want to assign, click OK, then click Yes to confirm. Your new devices have now been assigned to your primary device. That concludes part 1 of the KH Director initial setup video. In part 2, we will be going over how to properly connect the tubing to the KH Director and how to calibrate the dosing pumps that will be used by the KH Director. If you have any questions for us, feel free to post on our GHL support forum or send us an email for one-on-one support. Links and contact info can be found in the description box below.